Hey, everybody, welcome to this wonderful night of testimonies. I am Sadie Hirschway, Diamond Ambassador with Plexus, and I have four of my friends here that are going to walk you through their beautiful experience with just how they got started and that feeling that they felt when they knew that they felt like they could be doing this, right? And what I love the most about this is that we call it a glimmer, that glimmer feeling that is so unique to each of us. It is so special to all of us. And we really get the opportunity to hear from their mouths because you might be listening, you might be going like, I might be feeling like going all in. I might be feeling like, what could I do this? Right. And sometimes when we have women that have gone before us, and I want to let you know that they run four of the most successful businesses in this company. They are diamond ambassadors, and so I want you to hear from them. And I'm gonna stop talking because I'm just the host here. I'm so excited to introduce my amazing friend Susanne. She happens to be in my upline, and she is somebody who reached down to me at the very beginning of my journey. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of like Googled her name after I met with her on the phone. And that was what changed everything for me. Finding out someone so successful was willing to meet me, just little old me. And that's what this is all about. We rise by lifting others and we uplift each other. And I cannot wait to hear from Susanne. So, Susanne, take it away.
Hi, everybody. Hope everybody is staying warm. We're trying over here to survive, but we're doing it. So, Sadie, thank you so much for having me. And I just love that I've known you for so long and just watched your journey. And you inspire me all the time, seriously. And just your go getterness, is that a word? And just your leadership. So I appreciate you. I love having you on my team. But feel so lucky and blessed. But I'll get started. So I have been in Plexus. I can't believe this. It'll be in March. It'll be 13 years. And so it has been such a ride and such a journey. And just a little background on me really quick. So I was definitely one of those people. I was super skeptical before joining Plexus. So I had been in another MLM before previously. Y'all, I sat at my readers right before this call. So I'm sorry if they're like, I'm like going to be adjusting to this truck. Yes. So I was in another MLM Plexus, and and it was actually a very successful company. I don't even know. I think it might still be around, but I was always in the hole financially. Like I just, it was one of those companies where you had to keep inventory all the time and you had to go do shows. I mean, has anybody ever been a part of another company like that where you just had to go and do it? It was actually defeating my purpose, which was stay home with my babies, but then I had to go and do all these shows. And, it was just, every few months I had to actually buy new inventory because the type of company it was, so you could show everybody what it was and all that. And yeah, not a lot of freedom. I just lost the freedom. And it was so like, it was just like a rat race all the time. I was like having to buy a new product, and then I was not making money. And then I was like, I have to buy it again to sell it because it was online, or it was a jewelry company actually. And so I just was like, I can't do this. I'm losing. This is defeating the purpose what I'm doing. So naturally, when I first heard about Plexus through a couple friends, I was super hesitant. And it actually took me about 8 months before I decided to go all in with the business. I was just a product taker for that time. I felt a little burned, like I just told y'all, on network marketing. So I was like, no, this isn't working. But I actually really liked the product. So I'm going to keep taking them. And it was helping me. So, but I was thinking through, got a hair right here. I was thinking through, like, when did I first realize that this was the real deal, that this could be impactful for my family, financially, and in so many ways for a long time. And honestly, I was thinking through, I was like, it wasn't really just one time for me. It was actually a couple different times throughout my journey that I had a lot of aha moments. So I don't know if you guys were like that with yours, but the first time I really realized it was the first day I decided to post on social media. I call it my open for business post. It took me about a month after signing up to honestly get the courage to do it. I was nervous. My husband was like, Suze, we've been down this route before. Like, I don't think it's going to work. And I mean, he's a pretty big, like, He's like more positive than I am. I mean, he would be like, yes, go for it. But he was like, we've been burned a little bit and we don't have any money to lose anymore because we did not have any money. And so, and I also was nervous because I was like, this is scary. What would people think? Will they think I'm weird? What if, people are not interested? And the biggest thing, honestly, for me was, what if I fail? What if I'm not successful at this again? And so that really caused me to just kind of wait another month. And so, but I was like, well, what the heck? I've got my upline who is posting and she's having interest. So why don't I just try it? And so, side note, we were also just a paycheck to paycheck family. I had 2 part-time jobs at the time, and I was just trying to be able to stay home with my babies as long as I could. So I was actually like, okay, Lord, please let this work. God, please let this work. And or even just I was like, even God, just please bless us with even just a little breather money, just a little bit, even just a couple $100 to pay for my kids' little activities or whatever they're doing would have been helpful to us. And so you guys, though, after that night, after I posted, I couldn't believe the interest that I had in my network. I had so much interest. I had people commenting on my posts, people inboxing me. They just wanted to try the products, and I was like, oh, okay, they're interested. I didn't know they were interested. And I remember it took. I was up at night for 4 hours that night, and I was like, because people were just like so interested in it. And I mean, I think I told people I was just like cutting my cravings from Diet Dr. Pepper and um had lost a few, 6 pounds or something. I don't even know. But I just couldn't believe it. And I added it up that night and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I just made like $300 like in 2 hours, which that's $150 now. I was like, oh my gosh. And then it came in the mail and I was like, okay, this is actually the real money. Like I think in my previous company, it took me 4 or 5 months to make $300 probably, like to profit that. And so that night, I just remember telling myself, okay, I think this might actually work. I was like, people want it. They need these products. Even the business. I think I even signed up 3 ambassadors that night too. And so I was like, oh my gosh, they are interested. And I love it because, some of you might be like, well, you have 13 years, you just got in early, but I still have people that are messaging me that have just watched and they're decide they finally want to try it, for the first time. And so you just never know who is going to, like, maybe your post or someone else's post or story, whatever, will resonate with somebody finally, just like click with them and say, okay, hey, I want to try this. So that was kind of the first night. And I told myself, okay, I think this might be legit. But then I had a second epiphany, aha, whatever you want to call it. Really quick, I know time's run out. And it was when I went to my first convention. And my first convention was in New Orleans. Most of you probably had never been. I think I might be the only one on this call that's been to it. But it was in New Orleans that year. It was only 6 weeks later after I made my first post. And I was like, I am going. I'm going. I couldn't afford to fly. But so I was like, I'm going to drive. It was 7.5 hours from here. So I was like, I'm just going to drive and I'm going to go do it. And there was just a few others, sidelines that were going. One of my uplines was going, or 2 of my uplines were going too. And, I was like, I remember walking in the room and me and a few others, we just sat, we were in the very back section. And I just was like, oh my gosh, like these stories, these testimonies, these Plexus stories, um, okay, this is a real company. And that's why instead of just an online company, I was like, I got to see these people. Like this is online. I don't know if these people are real. I tell you, there are people are real, but and so, which again is why I want to reiterate, if you're not signed up for a convention, please do that because going to events is where it's at. It's just, you're just seeing it, you're feeling it, you're touching it, it's just everything, like all the senses, and so it just really will speak to you. And I remember Taro and Alec, if you guys are just guests on this call, they are the owners of our company. They got on stage and they were just really cared about helping people with their health and with a business opportunity that could be something real. And so for me, that was another big moment for me where I was like, okay, here we go. Let's go. Let's keep doing it. I think this could be the real deal for me. So those of you that are on this call, get to in-person events if you can, because that is really something that can fire you up and help you really get off the ground running. And it's just the camaraderie of it too. So anyways, it's been amazing. And want to encourage y'all just to keep going. Don't, it doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter.
He's like, we're
Really just
going to bring the championship to Miami.
I love it. To
And we're going to
people.
do it by
Don, can you, if
this
you can
week is starting.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, that was mine. So I want to introduce the next person, which she is on my downline, which makes me so happy because she's a rock star, which is Paige Greenway. And she's a Diamond ambassador as well. And she has a great story that she's going to share. So take it away.
Awesome. Okay, thanks, Suze. And when Sadie put in the chat, just how like impactful Suzanne's decision to go all the way in was. And that when I start to think about that kind of stuff, it makes me very emotional. It makes me very weepy. I didn't know Suzanne. I didn't know who she sponsored was Melissa, who sponsored Sally, who sponsored me. Like it is, and I was sharing in my stories today, inviting people to this call saying, listen, this could change the trajectory of your entire family's future. And I always say, I know that sounds dramatic, but it is true. That is the case. So my name is Paige Greenway. I'm a Diamond ambassador in Waco, Texas. We are cold and we don't know what to do with the snow that we've had. No, but it's been fun. But I'm so grateful. And I'm so grateful that Sadie asked me to share this because I am super passionate about it. So I joined Plexus strictly for the products 10 years ago, which blows my mind. It was after having my second son. I have 3 boys, and I was really struggling with some different health things, had been for years. That's a completely different conversation that I would love to have with you. But just long story short, I had been struggling with these chronic issues that led to years of infertility, 4 different miscarriages, all kinds of crazy stuff. And finding Plexus absolutely changed my health. Absolutely changed my health. And after those years of struggles, I had built a community that I knew needed what I had found. And so I was referring my friends, my community, to Sally, my friend who I joined under. And she was like, sis, you have a website. Like they can order from you. I was like, oh, okay. I was a high school English teacher at the time. I taught high school English in a public school here in Texas for several years. And my husband is a pastor. So we are very blessed, but same, we were definitely living paycheck to paycheck. And it was the kind of thing where it was like, I know someday I'm going to potentially drop dead in a classroom, like I'm going to be teaching for the rest of the rest. And that was fine. But my heart longed for more. My final 2 years of teaching, my district graciously allowed my colleague and I to split a job. And we begged to be able to do that. So I was able to teach half days for my final 2 years. It was still English, y'all. I was still picking up my babies. So instead of having like an hour with them awake in the evenings, I was getting a little more time with them, but I'm still grading English essays. Okay. It was still working around the clock. But it was such a gift. Well, my district said, if one of you goes, the other one goes back full time. Long story short, the 11th hour of that school year, my colleague got another job. So they wanted me to go back full time. And my husband had recently said to me, just from me sharing, I was not like out and proud and going crazy with Plexus at the time. I was just kind of sharing with, like I said, with some of my friends, my community, what was working for me. And I'll never forget him saying, listen, Paige, I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it because we got some money coming in. And I was like, what? I didn't even know. That was amazing. Okay. So then when it came time for me to go back full time, we just did not feel peace about that. at the time, there is nothing like I miss so much about teaching at times. I mean, so much. Okay, I miss the students. That's about it. But I loved my job, but my heart was to be home. And so Drew, my husband, was like, "Hey, what if you tried? Like, what if you really tried this Plexus thing, went all in, went for it?" And I was like, "Okay." Here's another very long story that I would love to share with you. I actually have a YouTube video about it because it is one of the craziest Plexus stories ever. But at that exact time, convention that year was in Vegas. It was the first year it was ever in Vegas. And y'all, long story short, I snuck into that convention. Okay. I like legit did. It is the most God story you have ever heard. It was crazy. And I would love to share that. But sneaking in to that convention in Vegas, it's crazy. It's a crazy story. Um, it changed my life forever. That was my moment, like my moment that still gives me chills to where I remember I'll never forget being in that stadium and seeing the jewels. I was just learning what jewels were, what diamonds were. These are the top three levels in the company. And seeing them walk the stage and learning that they get to drive a Lexus that's paid for by the company. They're earning six figures. Y'all, that nowhere was any of that at all anything in the realm of possibility or even dreams for me. But I remember seeing them going, okay, they look awesome. I'm sure they're great people. You know, Susanne was down there. I didn't know her yet. Some of you were down there that I didn't know. But I'm sure they're awesome, but like they're not different than I am. They're moms, they're nurses, they're dads, they're teachers, they're, whatever. They're not special any more so than anyone else. So if they can do it, why not me? Why not me? And it was just like, boom, yeah, I'm doing it. So I came home and I put the pedal to the metal. I did not hesitate. There was a fire in my belly that is still here 10 years later, where it's like, I know that every single person needs what we have. Every single person needs gut health, needs to know how to balance their blood sugar, balance hormones. Everything is tied together. There's not a soul. And I had been approached about network marketing, like I am sure every single person on this call. And I was like, this ain't lipstick. This isn't makeup. This isn't jewelry. I love those things. Love those things. And I love supporting my friends in those things. But that was not something that was going to wake me up and set my soul on fire. But this did. And I mean, it was just very, very divinely clear. This is what you are supposed to do. And so I went all in and have never one time looked back, never looked to the right or the left. What else? Is there a plan B? No, this is it. And there have been bumps along the road. I am a diamond, but it was not easy, but it has been worth it. Every single second is worth it. And the impact that we have, like I said, that Susanne has had, that Sadie has had, now that I just by God's grace, that I know I have been able to have because of the way that my team has grown. Like it is all such a gift because we decided to say yes, put the fear aside, any kind of people pleasing fear man, none of that matters, and just like went, all right, let's do this. Let's do this thing. And it's changed my family forever. We adopted our third son. We were able to financially do that privately because of my Plexus business, y'all. So anyway, I am so incredibly, incredibly grateful. And I just could talk about this all night, but I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna kick it to my dear friend Darci. Love you, girl.
I know. It is so incredible to like be sitting, just watching all of these faces, right? And know that so many of you on here I know, and the ripple effect that Paige talks about is real. I'm also under Susanne and have met Sadie and Paige and Jwana along the way. And you're just surrounded by the most incredible women and men, but like that are heart-centered and love helping people. And so many of us are just real normal moms who were looking for something more. And so backstory, me, I'm a little small Maine town girl. I was teaching elementary Montessori school, struggling financially. My husband and I had like done all the right things, right? We even both had our master's degrees. He's an architect. I was a Montessori teacher, and we were struggling. So like people don't talk to each other so much about their financial stressors, but we were really struggling. I'd had melanoma, we had medical debt, we had, college debt and credit card debt to survive, right? Everything goes on a credit card. We had cut our cable. Date nights were pizza by candlelight. I mean, we were living very minimally. Anywho, thought this is just going to be our life. Like Paige kind of said, I would teach forever. I was doing many multiple jobs. I filed for my dad. I waitressed. At the time I found Plexus, I was actually running a summer camp all summer. I had gone into teaching because I do love children, but also dreaming of the summers I would get with my own children. And that wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. I actually opened the summer camp. I dragged my kids to summer camp with me all summer. So I was with them, but I was with them amongst other kids, and they needed a break from school in the summer. I needed a break. It was hard. So when I found Plexus, I solely was not looking for a business. I never thought this would be the answer. I was looking for, and actually, you guys, I worked at a private Montessori school, so a lot of the moms would drop off their children and would go meet for coffee in their yoga clothes or go to yoga, and I would stand at my doorway and welcome their children into my classroom and truly be envious, you guys, envious of like, one, I would love me time. I would love to not, I mean, my kids were at the school with me, so it was like after school, we'd run to the grocery store and meltdowns in the aisle, and then I couldn't afford the food. It's just so much stress, right? It was like I longed for one, some me time. That would be lovely. Just a break, and just to have that more carefree life. I just felt life was very heavy and stressful. So I found Plexus. I'm only looking for a probiotic for my 7-year-old daughter. She's struggling. We'd been to naturopath. The naturopath mentioned the word gut microbiome. I was clueless, you guys. I didn't know what that was. I'm researching. We're on expensive refrigerated medical grade probiotics, this anti-inflammatory diet. They're not helping my child. I'm like stressed she's going to be like this forever, and I can't help her and I can't save her. And my friend's talking about this probiotic and how amazing it is. And I'm rolling my eyes like, no way is that better than this medical grade probiotic. But I kept stalking her Facebook page, you guys. Every day I would like go and read and like research the company. And like, I just was so curious that this maybe was the answer. She was like sharing stories. And so I called her one day and said, how do I just order this probiotic? Of course, we talked mom life, and she was like, how are you feeling? And I'm like, oh, I don't sleep. I'm constipated. I'm exhausted. I'm living on sugar, but this is mom life. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm fine. This is mom life. And she was like, well, actually, this pink drink. And I'm like, I know, I've been watching you. You look like you're thriving. You look alive. You look joyful. You look happy. Like, I want that. So she convinced me to order the gut health system for me and a probiotic for my daughter. And I told her this will be the only month I can order because we absolutely do not have this in our budget. And so she said, I want you to just pop up a post on social media, letting people know I'm doing this gut health thing. I'm nervous. I'm excited. I'm skeptical. Like, be an open book about your journey and just see if 3 people join you, you'll make this $300. And $300, you guys, was life-changing money. Nervous out of my mind, like these women talked about. I put this post up, sweating, like, yeah, fear of judgment. I don't want to be this girl. Like, what are people going to think and say? Anyway, people responded. Like Susanne said, people responded. And I just kept sharing my journey. Like, I got my package, and week 1 felt amazing. Alive. You guys, if Plexus is amazing. Balanced blood sugar and gut health is amazing. I was like, not craving sugar. I called my husband from the teachers where I'm like, I'm not craving donuts. I don't know what's going on. This pink drink is magic. And I just felt alive. And I think, like Susanne said, I had a couple glimmers. That moment for me, being 10 days on the products, finally sleeping at night, waking up feeling rested, happy after school to like be patient with my kids. I had energy to play with them in the yard. That glimmer was other moms need to know about this. Other moms need to feel the way I'm feeling. Other moms need to feel patient and alive and happy. And so I was like, I got caught the passion of like, I really want to help moms find this. So found my three, got my $300, was so excited. The next month was November, and Plexus runs these amazing incentives, you guys. And that November, I've also been in for 10 years. That November was sign 10 people, 10 customers, and get a $1,000 holiday bonus. And I was like, what? I charge my Christmas on a credit card every year, and then we pay it off 6 months later, a year later, right? What if I said to my husband, what if I don't have to charge Christmas? Like this could change our lives. And so I went all in November. I said, I'm doing this. I'm going to do this. And I shared and I posted like passionately, and we signed our 10. And Chris, we were just talking about this before I got on this call. Like, do you remember that moment we were standing in the kitchen of our other house, and I was telling you that like I think we could do this. Like, I think this is going to be my ability to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, I'm going all in. And I just did, you guys. I just knew with such passion and excitement that everyone needed this. My children need this. My parents needed this. My friends needed this. Gut health and balanced blood sugar. I knew the market was wide open, and I knew I believed in the products. And so the best, you guys, is when I signed my 3 friends, I signed my 10 friends from November. The best is the messages coming in of people saying, I'm so glad you shared because I feel alive. My husband's off his this medicine, like you start this ripple effect of stories coming in, and it fuels you with so much. Then my belief is just compounding, right? Of like, I knew I was feeling good, but people with less anxiety, and that's a game changer. My friend who used to pull over in the side of the road, an anxiety attack, was like, I haven't had one in 6 months. This is life changing stuff, you guys. So anyway, I'm sorry, going over my time limit as well. Life changing. In a year, I walked away from teaching. I actually moved into an RV for 2 years and traveled with my kids. I got to teach my own children. My husband walked away from his architecture firm. We were all in. We spent beautiful moments together as a family. And I've helped other women do that same, become homeschooling moms. I mean, just so many beautiful things happen when you get out of your comfort zone and you do something way out of the ordinary that you would never imagine. So, long story short, yes, I love this now, watching other people reach goals. You guys, you get to help. Like if you're a helper at heart, this is the best job for you because it's the pay. Money is amazing, right? But it's the helping, it's the watching other people reach their dreams and their goals with their families. Okay, I get to pass it off to Jwana Slavin. She blows me away. My daughter's almost 18, as it has been saying. I can't wait to join you in business, Mom. This is going to be so fun. And I've watched Jwana do this with her children and her husband, and it's amazing. So I'm excited for you guys to hear her story too.
Hey everyone, my name is Jwana and I am going to wrap us up tonight. And Sadie, I just want to say thank you so much for having me tonight. Susanne, Paige, and Darci, you guys are all amazing. I don't even know how I can compete with any of that. That was incredible. But yes, I have to 100% agree. Get to convention, like get registered after this call and get to convention. In-person events will change your life. Okay, so I want to start by being very honest. When I joined Plexus, I was not looking for a business. Like drop a 1 in the chat if that was you. There's 54 people on this call and probably 99% of you are going to be dropping 1s in the chat. I was not looking for a business, but I also did not see many other options for myself. At the time, I was a daycare mom. I was working long days, taking care of other people's kids while trying to raise my own. And no matter how hard I worked, my income, it was capped. There were no raises, no bonuses, absolutely no flexibility. Let me tell you, trying to get to the dentist was impossible. I had to look for somebody to come in and watch all these kids, and that was impossible too. But there was no flexibility to work more and earn more. It was just the same routine day after day, and financially, we were just getting by. And I remember realizing that even though I was working really hard, nothing about our future was changing. I joined Plexus because I wanted to feel better. And honestly, I just wanted to lose a little bit of weight like everybody around us, right? But pretty quickly I started noticing something else. And this is where my glimmer moment came in. I started seeing regular moms, people like me, they were earning money. They were paying bills. They were staying home with their kids and they were building something that was growing instead of staying stuck in life. And I remember thinking, I do not have access to this kind of opportunity anywhere else. Nowhere else at all. I didn't even have a college degree, you guys. As a daycare mom, I could not climb a ladder. I could not scale my income, and I definitely could not create time freedom. Plexus was the first time that I saw a path where effort actually connected to growth. And that is when my mindset shifted from being a customer to asking, what if I actually really tried to build this? And let me tell you, everybody here was having just a ton of fun too. I'm like, this is just a great community that I just want to be a part of as well. I did not have business experience. I did not have a big social media following. I had 300 Facebook friends. I wasn't the prom queen. I didn't have extra time. Like all of us, we don't have extra time, right? But what I did have was belief that this could change our situation if I stayed consistent. So you know what I started doing? I started showing up. I posted. I reached out to people. I joined trainings. You guys, I stayed positive. I was eager to grow and learn, and I leaned into the community and the leadership around me, and I treated it like something real, not just a hobby. My first paycheck, you guys, $152. That literally changed everything for me. I remember showing my husband, he was watching TV, and I'm like, this can't be real. I wasn't watching kids and I made some money. Over time, I started ranking up. I was building a team and realizing that this was not just helping with groceries or gas money. This was creating real income and real options for our family. The biggest shift for me was not even the money, it was the belief that I was capable of building something that actually mattered. When so many people told me that I would never accomplish nothing in this network marketing business. And let me tell you, I was out to prove them wrong. That is what added fuel to my fire. I come from a family of 14. None of my siblings use Plexus, you guys. So do not let that get in your way at all. I was out to prove them wrong. Eventually, I reached Emerald and I thought, oh my goodness, like this is actually working. But even after that, I kept going because I could see what was possible long term if I stayed in the game. So fast forward, I rebuilt. I stayed consistent. I ended up reaching Diamond. And you know what else? So did my husband. And that meant he was able to be more present with our kids, and our family schedule felt like it was built around us and not around a time clock. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? My son built a Sapphire. Actually, he hit Emerald 1 month before his 18th birthday. And my daughter in college, she is building her own business too. What started out as something, me just wanting a little bit of breathing room financially, turned into something that is impacting our whole family. My dream was to have the very first family Plexus business, and it was coming true. And that is why I am so passionate about the business side of Plexus. And I will share this with anybody. As soon as a new customer signs up, I'm sharing this. I'm sharing about this with them because it's not just about the products. This is about access to an opportunity that most people in traditional jobs, they will never have. An opportunity where you can grow, you can earn, you can lead, you can build something that does not disappear if you take a day off or if life gets busy. So if you're listening tonight and you're thinking, I don't know if I can do this, or I don't know if I have time, I just want you to know that I didn't either, but I knew that I couldn't stay where I was. And we make time for the things that are important to us, right? So my glimmer moment was realizing that Plexus was not just helping me feel better, it was giving me a path forward that I could not find anywhere else in my situation. And as a mom of 8, I am so grateful that I said yes and that I stayed. So thank you so much for letting me share tonight. I hope my story helps somebody and resonates with somebody, and that your background does not limit your future here, and that the opportunity can really meet you exactly where you are.
Okay, listen, I was listening to all my friends, and thank you, Jwana. I like love doing this, but I kind of selfishly do it for me because I love getting fueled by these stories. They never get old. And I think selfishly too, like I know these women, and I just want you to know that this is like legitimately real. I mean, I'm sure that you don't think that we're making this up, but like, it's beautiful to watch these stories unfold in front of all of you because I've watched them myself, right? During my own story in my own building. So, ladies, thank you so very much for being my guest. Thank you so much for saying yes and changing everything. Your stories matter, are important. Your glimmer is such a big deal because look what you created with that feeling of, I can do it. What if? Oh my gosh, it's real. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. We'll have the recording available as well. Thank you again. Bye.